Okay. So this whole assessment is based off of our thoughts, behaviors, thinking, behavior, and communication. The way we think, behave, and communicate. Right. That's what this whole assessment is based on. Think, behave, communicate. A lot of people, some people think it's like your personality, and it's not.
So it differs from the other one, like the
No,
other
you mean,
test.
yeah, but most of they have some personality ones, but with the assessments, what it does, Jay, it's how we behave. Like these, when we look at these charts, it's given us a snapshot of how we behave when we are making decisions, how we approach problems, right? That's what it's all about. It's a reflection, it's an aerial view of how we operate, you know.
Hmm.
So some people get caught up like this is my personality. No, your personality, like you may make a bad decision, but that's not who you are as a person. You get what I'm saying? Like you just
Right.
made a bad decision. You just made a decision that was not favorable, um, or a good decision, but that's not who you are personally. Your personality is connected to the seed of the man, the soul. You know, your core moral value.
Right. Your purpose, like
Yeah,
basically how that works is your based on whatever your purpose is. Once you get in that right lane, this is these strengths should
yeah,
equip and drive you to get in
yeah.
your space and dominate it, quote unquote.
Absolutely, absolutely. For real, that's what it. That's what it does, man. And we spent so much time trying to. I read this quote, and I'll tell you it. Hurry up, said. Said hurry up. I read this quote yesterday. I want to read it to you. It was so fire, man. It said, uh, because we try to focus so much on working on what we're not strong at, or we work on those things that we have challenges, and we instead of just really cultivating the areas that we are super strong, right? So this quote, it says, today's best performer, it says, stop trying to put in what God left out, and instead work with what God put in you,
Oh,
right?
that's what's
Right? So he just like, yo, stop trying to work on what God left out. Like, I didn't put that in you. Why are you working on that? Why are you spending so much energy trying to, um,
yeah, be somebody that you're truly not created to be.
yeah, you're not created to be that. So you sitting here worrying about what you can't complete. So anyway, so looking at this, right? So one of the persons who created this was John Marston, William Marston. Um, and William Marston was the dude who created the lie detector test, and he was the cat who created the character Wonder Woman, right? So he was
You
a
say he created Wonder Woman?
yeah, Wonder Woman. Yeah, the character
Oh,
Wonder
okay.
Woman.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so he was like this whole scientist, typical, type of dude, man. So when we look at this, assessment, this assessment is a big snapshot of how you behave or whatever. So to give you an overview of each one of the color components,
You kind of like going in and out.
can you hear me?
Yeah, but I'm just saying you go in and out.
I'm going in and out. Am I going in and out right now?
Nah, you good right now.
All right, I'm gonna stay right here. So I'm gonna give you an overview of each one of these color sessions, right? So the red, the first one is the red, which is the D, right? The D focuses on is your ability to problem solve and decision making, right? Is how you prefer to approach problems and make decisions. And you, if we were to look at, we just use flight crew as an example, right? So the flight crew would be the pilot in this case. So you got the pilot, the flight attendant, ground crew, and air traffic control. So the D is the pilot. You know how the pilot, when he get on the airplane, it's on, he's just focused on getting to the destination. He doesn't care anything about anything else. It's just getting to the destination, right? So it's like a driver that has the grip. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's just. I'm sorry, but it's just in and out. You can
Hold on,
hear me clearly.
I can hear you clear, but I can hear stuff in your background. Let me get my headphones. Let me get my headphones.
Yeah, I'm sitting here in this Dunkin' Donuts. I think they got the music kind of loud. I'm gonna turn. I'm gonna mute until you ask me to say something.
What'd you say?
I said I'll mute until you ask me to say something, so it won't cause no feedback for you.
Let me see. Can you hear me now? Is it better? If I is it better this
It
way?
starts off really good, but every now and then it just like.
All right, yeah. Let me get my headphones.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where Sydney put them at it, but I'll just speak slower. And if you need me to repeat, man, just say something.
Yeah,
So, can, can you hear me right now? But if you can't hear, just let me know.
I can hear you.
All right. So the D again, this is where the pilot, right, is just focuses on the problem solving and decision making.
Is
Okay.
the color one mine or the
The
gray one?
color line, the color line.
Okay.
That's the preference of the color line.
Mm-hmm.
The next one, and that's a 49. The next one is the I. The I is very expressive. That's the one that loves to, that's the part that is expressive, that's emotional, that is inspirational, innovative, big picture thinking, experience driven, that type of thing, right? That's what the I is. That's that flight attendant. The flight attendant, you get on the airplane, it's all about your experience, making sure you have everything, right? All about the people, want to connect with the people, okay? The next one is the S. The S is the pace, like the pace that you prefer to move, like how fast or how slow. Um, it's all about team. It's all about team and doing things together as a community, right? It's all about the teamwork. It's all about how fast or how slow a person prefers to move. Okay, I just want to make sure you can hear me as I talk.
I'm good.
And then the last one is what we call, and this is the grounds crew. The green is the grounds crew, right? So the grounds crew, they bring your bags. You don't really see them much. They are people. They are people. Have the ability to connect with people, but they like, yo, I don't need to be in the spotlight. I don't need to be in the front. I can just support you. Whereas the I want to be out front. The D want to be out front. The S is like, I just want to support. How can I help you to make your dreams become a reality? And then the last one is the C, which is the air traffic control. That's the one that focuses on um, systems and structure and organization, all of that type of stuff. That's what those attributes are. It's all about systems and controls and processes and procedures. And that's the air traffic control. You don't see the air traffic control, they in that control center and they're directing where everything goes, right? So the pilot, like, yo, we need to get from Michigan to New York, and the air traffic controller is saying, hey, this is the best route. According to all of these different, you know, factors, this is the best route and the best time or whatever the case to get to our destination, right? So, so with that being said, can you can you say back to me, just in your understanding, what each one of these represent? The D, the I, the S, and the C. And you don't have
Okay.
to be perfect.
Yeah. So I kind of didn't really catch the D as clearly,
Okay,
but
so let me say this. Let me just say this. So the D is like your problem solving and decision making. So
okay.
when it's like somebody who's in control, somebody's just like, yo, I'm not gonna wait. I'm gonna do this, right? Somebody who's not afraid of conflict. Somebody who's not afraid to confront a problem. Where some people just like see it. A D is like, no, I'm gonna do something about it. Want to be out front, want to take control, want to be in leadership. It's just like, yo, pick me. Want to be out front, want to be the face of the stuff.
Okay, so you just explained that one. So a D is very, very strong leadership
Yep,
initiative. It's one thing to have leadership quality, but leadership initiative, willing to say, hey, look, I got this. Let's follow me. I'll get you there. The I is someone that will go above and beyond to, you know, it, to engage, to, an I is like somebody that put the star on top of the tree and put the extra stuff on.
yep,
A S is like, hey, listen, whatever you're trying to do, it sounds cool. You know what? Let's get it. You know what I mean? Long as you getting yours, I'm cool with that, right? And the C is, you know, kind of, you need somebody that can um, stay focused on the blueprint. Like the C is someone who basically like, hey, all that sounds good, but let's not get out of our main goal is to get from A to Z. And right now you're in the Roman letters and we can't rock like that.
yep,
So, you know, so although they might come across as someone that agitates you because it restrains your creativity, they ain't even gonna show you or tell you, but their main goal is like, hey, you said you wanted to do this. You know what I mean?
yep,
So they like quality control. You
yes,
know what I'm saying?
yes, yes,
Like before the car come off the line, that's the quality control. Like, yo,
yes,
I did not tell you to put no chrome rims on here. Just keep it simple. You know
yep,
what I mean?
exactly, Jay,
Yep.
exactly.
So the D and the C gotta really have a come to Jesus, because if this person is leading and you got people on the inside that's helping design the color, the comfort, all this type of stuff, you let them do that, but you keep them within you know, like, all right, guys, do what you do, but you get too far over here, I'm gonna put you back in line.
Yeah,
Don't take, you know what I'm saying? So is
yeah.
that cool?
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, Jay.
And
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
normally eyes have a lot of conflict with C. Sometimes eyes can work well with D's. It's just a matter of like, okay, if you trust me to do it, I'm gonna get it done. But eyes probably have the most conflict with C because, you know, while C is looking at the trees, I is looking at the forest,
Yep. Yep.
you know?
Yep. Yeah, man, you're absolutely correct, man. And this helps because you already have a working knowledge of it for you to put these pieces together. I mean that that's so dope. I couldn't have explained it any better than that. So when I look at yours, right? So if I was training somebody, if I was taking somebody through a coaching session, right? I would have first of all ask you what was your goal? Like what are you trying to accomplish? Right? So why are we here in the first place? Because now based off of that, now I'm able to help solve your problem based off of this assessment. So if you so let's just an example. What is one if you took this assessment, what would be one thing that you are trying to accomplish at this moment, right? Like just real talk, like what are you trying to accomplish? And I'll give you an example of how I will approach this using your assessment.
Um, hmm. One thing that I'm trying to accomplish right now.
Yeah, or just period. Like, something that's a challenge, right? Something
Oh,
that's,
something that's a challenge is for me to honestly, my biggest challenge is being consistent because I'm
okay.
so every day is like I'm an in the moment type of cat. You know what I'm saying? So to do the same thing over and over really bothers me. So I have respect for like the structure that a C will implement, but at the same time, I'm like, all right, well, if I don't fit, y'all just keep moving. I'll connect with something else.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. No, that's dope, bro. No, I like it. So before I go any further, like, so looking at, let me just say this. So looking at yours, right? So looking at yours, you already see that you are a high I, right? Your next highest is your C. But when we look at I'm not going to go there yet.
My next highest is my C.
No, no, let me just say S. I'm sorry, Jay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So your preference when we look at this,
And the gray is me, right?
huh?
The gray is me, or
No,
the
no.
color.
The color bar is you.
Oh okay.
The color bar is you. The 64 is you, right?
Oh
So
okay.
that's your preference. That's what you prefer to operate in. So you prefer to connect with people. You a people person. You go in the room. You meet no strangers. The whole nine, right? Just like
Yeah. Yeah,
let's
that's all me. That's all me.
all day. Like you live for the excitement, even with validation and support, and people telling you how how dope you are, like the likes or whatever. You like that type of stuff, right? Like you feed off of that. Um, and then your next highest is your S, right? So your two highest pieces is your ability to connect with people, and it's about um, like the emotional standpoint, right? It's that emotional connection, and you see your S here is high because you like to support people, right? So you can support people, and your pace is a pretty balanced pace. So this is the thing with yours, Jay, is that a high I moves really fast without thinking, right? They don't. It's not the detail. It's not in the details. The S, it is about the details. The S So that's where that conflict, like how you say sometimes, like, yo, we need to get this done, you know, but at the same time, you don't have a structure and a system in place that you know what to do, but you know that's important to do, but that's not your preference. You rather not do that. You rather not have, but you know, in order to be successful, you like, I have to have a system in place. I have to have this. I have to have that. But you dislike it. You don't want to do it. And matter of fact, what happened
Hey, you know what's funny?
was
Is
that,
is I ain't gonna go too far, of course, but this is almost like prophetic type training. Like, you know what I'm
yo,
saying? Like, you know how
yeah,
people speak a
yeah,
word into your life. It's kind of funny.
yeah,
All right, go ahead.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah. So you mentioned, because so what I would typically do, I would go down here to these words down here, right? So showing you like where you are according to the chart, like enthusiastic and sociable, right? And then over here at your green, you are like complacent, stable, from that standpoint, right? And consistent. Like you want to be consistent, like it's like you know what to do, but your eye take over, like, yo, I hate being in the cage. Like I want my freedom. So that's why the job that you have, having the ability to get out and connect, you love that part. But that cubicle, you hate it, bruh. Like that office, like that detail, like
Yeah, I hate that.
hate it. Hate it because it makes you feel you can't put on you can't do this. And you would even try to create that in that environment. And those people in that environment, they so engineer minded that
I hate it.
they don't get it. They don't have that personality. They're
Right.
not wired that way. So when you were talking about these gray bars, so these gray bars, bro, are your adaptive, right? This is your adaptive. This is how you adapt during circumstances, situations, how and most of us adapt, right? So we have our preference, but we have to adapt. So if you feel like somebody is watching you, you feel like you're under pressure, or whatever the case, this is what you do. So what's interesting with yours, Jay, is that you're yellow, that your eye goes up, right? So you still are. It's almost like you
Like
become
I'm defiant or
not
what?
defiant. No, I'm gonna show you something. So not where you define, you can still connect with people, right? So you can still on the outside make them feel like, yo, I'm with you. I'm still with you. Like like it's almost like you know how to play that game. Like you still being expressive, like, yeah, like, yeah, things are straight. Uh-huh. Like, yeah, I got you. All of that. But when you look at your C, which is that systems, and even your ability with your S here, right? Your S drops. And your S drops because you go from being super supportive, so now you pull back a little bit, right? You can pull back some, and you're moving at a faster pace, right? Because now you're under pressure or whatever. Now you're just moving a lot more off of emotion. But this is what's interesting, man, is your C, where you're not, that's not your sweet spot, period, um, about being organized. But you go from being like this 46 to a 10. Whenever somebody dropped 20 points, we need to address it. Yo, yours dropped like 36. So you go from being, look at this.
Like complete. I go from being completely engaged to like, man, oh well, forget it.
Look at this. Look what you do, bro. You go from being like balanced to going to independent to being rebellious to being careless, right? When it comes to your structure. I mean, you just like, yo, this is just too much, yo. It's almost like F it.
Yo, that's crazy, right? Because that's really how I be. I was kind of looking at those questions like, man, these are really marginal, basic questions. I don't know. This is a waste,
Yeah.
but it's kind of funny though. And the you know of me. I know that sounded crazy, but that's kind of how I am, right?
Yeah.
He be like, yo, this guy, he about to dominate. Like, oh, yo, what happened to Jay?
Yep.
Jay be on the road, like, yo, where you going, bro? Like, I'm good. I
Yep.
catch y'all later.
I'm
Go
good.
ahead without me. Go ahead
Yep.
without me.
Yep. I'm good.
Me and
I'm
the vultures will have a party. That's cool.
Yep. Because the thing about it is that, what people won't really know is like you do not like confrontation and conflict. So you try to avoid it at all costs. So you like, yo, so you could become passive aggressive or whatever the case, but it's not like you don't like conflict. And the only time you really, really step out is when your back is against the wall. And you look at your D, so instead of, you see how your I went up, like becoming more expressive, your D drops, right? It don't drop a whole lot. I mean, it only drops 7, but you still are not being assertive. You're still not being assertive. It's more so of responding. But your C make you real. You can be almost like sarcastic, matter of fact. Some things of that nature. But you gonna shut down or whatever the case internally. So when you talking about start producing some of these results, going back to what you said about becoming consistent, right? So the way that you need to become consistent is that you need to have less things that you're doing at one time,
That's true.
because you should only be doing about 2 or 3 things. Anything more than that, bro, you overwhelm and you just feel
Yeah.
like that's it. Like, because you don't have a system in place. Like, you all over the place, like over here, over there, over here, and you already know. I know because I'm an I too. But you can be all over the place, and what happens? You need to less is definitely more for you. Less is
Yeah,
definitely
because although my heart want do all this stuff,
yes, yes, bro.
mentally, if I'm not meeting that mark of excellence,
Oh
or
yeah,
I feel like I don't see a direct pathway for it, or I just be like, man, I'm not, forget it, man.
forget it.
This is ridiculous.
Yes, it's not worth it. And although you want it, like you really, really want it, but it's just like I don't see a pathway. It's too much. And then the other thing is, and which I know from a personal standpoint, but what this chart says is that you can overcommit yourself. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because the S is super supportive and want to help people. Your I is all about people. So with the I, you can overcommit yourself. Like, yeah, I can do that. I can do that. And dude, you got like 80 things you committed to. And so what happens? You don't want to let people down, but in the midst of it, you let people down. And that's what you was trying to avoid in the first place. Instead of being a D, using your D of assessing the situation, see if I really can do it. And if you can't, saying I can't do it. You telling somebody you can't doesn't say you rejecting them, because that's the way you see it. That's the way you see it. If you telling them no, like you rejecting them, like how they gonna feel about you saying no, or how they gonna, I don't want to disappoint them. Like, dude, but you wind up disappointing somebody in the midst of it.
Hey, but you know what's really cool about this whole thing? If you look at it from the opposite perspective and using the model of the golden rule, like treat others as you would have them do unto you. So
Yeah,
the bottom line is, if you're super supportive, that means you would ideally want people to support you in the same way. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That
yeah.
means that, see, if you don't really like being held to, disciplined and all that type of stuff. I mean, if you don't like doing that, that means you probably need it most and you're rambunctious. As far as the I is concerned, how would you associate the D and the I based on if you wanted to reverse, like saying what your inner man, like when you think about brokenness, your
Yeah.
inner man, like how would you think the reverse of the
So,
I
so when
would
you
be?
looking at an eye, man, an eye is totally thriving off of the lights of other people, man. You know what I mean?
So that means self-esteem, like
Self esteem,
literally.
absolutely, bro. Self esteem is huge with an eye, bro. it's all about acceptance. It's all about acceptance, man.
So lack of confidence could
Lack of
be a
confidence.
thing.
But they act like everything is straight. But the moment somebody
Criticize them or
criticize, oh, shut down. Like,
like
oh,
what?
like, oh, you don't think I can do this or whatever, and they get in their feelings. They don't actually process it analytically. And what the person may be saying is what the person may be saying to you is absolutely accurate, but because you're in your feelings, you reject it. Like they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, because I give you a point in case. I know you about to leave today?
No,
Soccer?
no, no, no.
Oh, oh. Um, somebody I'm cool with, they was trying to give me a compliment. I gave them a compliment, and it's like, yeah, you'll be my vice president. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, vice president? You don't even know what you're doing. Like in the back of my
Yes,
head,
yes,
I just kind of
yes.
like, I went
Yeah.
straight to that
Yes,
low C, like no more
yes.
comments, no whatever, like click, go to the next. Like I didn't even respond because in my head, I'm like, what is you talking about, man? You
Yes,
know what
yo.
I'm saying?
Yes, bro.
So the reflection of the D is what? Wow, that's cool. Yeah, the reflection of your, like I don't know how you guys were trained to present, but the reflection of your actual whatever snapshot should really highlight the areas internally where self-love needs to fill those spaces. But
Yeah.
for a D, it would be what would it say that I'm needing?
So so the
um
so, so the D, the D can be a lack of control if a low D. So now when you're looking at a low D, see if your I is super high and you got a low D, you mean it's like, yo, you definitely is depending on your ability to connect with people emotionally. And I can almost real talk, I can always come off seeming to be manipulative to a C. They were like, yo, they trying to manipulate. You know what I mean? Because it's all about these stories and it's all about like rah rah or whatever the case. So if your D is low and you a high I, it's not it's not that it's a bad combination. But the problem with the I is that the I doesn't like conflict. They use their ability to express themselves to get stuff done. When you really need
mm-hmm.
that D get stuff done. The I is what will break the ice, get people to trust you, but you need that D to close the deal. Because the D is gonna deal with, like, yo, I just need results. The perfect person will be like Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan. They're like, yo, I know we're a team, but in this case, I need the ball in my hand. I'll be the one. Give me the ball. I'll take the shot. We rise or fail or fall with us. Give me the ball. Where's LeBron James? LeBron James is so super supportive. That's why dudes get pissed at him. Why? At the end of the game, a lot of times, what is he doing? He's looking for an open man, somebody else that support. He's trying to get the ball to other people because he's super supportive. It's not that he can't lead. It's not that he can't take the game winning, but he would just rather bring his team more involved. Whereas Kobe, like, just give me the damn ball. Jordan, like,
Yeah.
give me the ball.
Yo, what's really dope about all this too, like I know I can't help it when people talk, I instantly get ideas, and
Because
sometimes
that's the eye in you. That's the eye. Because you're so big picture. It's always going. It's always going. Always
but
going.
But you know what? Every day, right? When you go out and meet people, you go networking events, you should develop, because I think I will eventually, but some type of station, like whether it's electronic or visual, that you tangible where you can touch, like that whole this concept when you get people's card, right? Because at the end of the day, we're always building a team. So we're the GMs of our teams. That means that we know we want to win. So in order for us to win, when we meet these people, you evaluate, okay, is this going to be a C on my team? Or
Yep.
is this guy
Yep.
just kind of in the farm league because
Yep.
I don't know where he's coming from? So when you
Yep.
get all these cards and contacts, like you need to be able to place them almost in a depth chart based on the goal that you have right now, be able to place them in a depth chart so you know, okay, I can go to this person and get that done. Or
Absolutely.
from a net weaving standpoint, meaning trying to help somebody else, you'd be like, boom, I got these people on deck on my depth chart. This guy, my mentee, needs this type of help. I'm gonna call John. Boom, what's up, John? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you in
Oh,
John lane. So
absolutely. Absolutely. So somebody like you and I, like what you need, Jay. So where you turning your wheels, one second, I'll make you something. So where you're turning your wheels is you know you need to be structured and it piss you off because you have so many ideas, you have so many of these, so you have so many uh, things that you can.
like,
It becomes overwhelmed, so you just don't move on them, right?
right, filling that gap could cause me to be a millionaire. Like, you know what I'm
Absolutely,
saying? That's why I
absolutely,
get
bro.
so stressed and frustrated,
You
because
get stressed, you get
if I
over.
was able to fill that C gap, I'd
Absolutely,
be in a whole nother.
because it takes it off your plate. It takes off, and you see yours. You become so like a C. Like, dude, you like that C is gone, so you just move it, right? So you got to think about it. The higher the C, just a little slower they move, right? Because they're more calculating. The higher the S is, they're more deliberate, slower, right? Your eyes is already fast. So you're moving a mile a minute without a system. So that's why you're overwhelmed.
Hey, Sean, real talk, bro. You can do so much with this. Just like you can do a interview prep consulting, like it's maybe a 2 time meeting where the first, once they give their deposit, they take this, you meet with them, but you kind of counsel them on how to engage in their interview, how to celebrate their strengths, give them some realistic examples based on their body of work and things they accomplish. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From a
Oh,
consulting
yes.
standpoint,
Yes. Yes,
just to
bro.
prepare students or adults for interviews, because people really struggle in interviews. But using this as a concept, when you know what you know about yourself, you're able to go in there and get that job and keep that job.
Yes.
But when you go in there trying to front like you somebody you not, and the
Yo.
person on the
Yeah.
other side is like, it's something about them that I'm not sure
Yep.
about.
Yep. Because they're not real in it. Because that's not them. It's like yours, dude. The reason why you so dope is because you have the ability, which is a superpower, bro, is that you have the ability to connect with people and make people feel like they are the most important person in the world. You just your eye is high. Your eye is high, so you likable, and then you super supportive. Like you could be patient. You know how to go at different pace, right? So you know how to slow it down. You know how to speed it up as it relates to connecting with people.
It's basically like I'm willing to dance and I know how to dance with you, no matter what kind of dance you're
No
doing.
matter what pace it is, no matter what pace it is. Like you're not afraid to even confront a D or a C as long as you can use your emotional and personality, like that connection. Now, when it comes to the analytical part, you could become intimidated because you're like, nope, I'm not at that level. That's not my lane. So now, when you get in that space, now you're more quiet. Now you're more
Hmm.
reserved because you like, I don't trust that part. But if you are able to use your ability to connect emotionally and relationally, yo, you like, I'm gonna murder this room.
Yeah,
I'm
bro,
gonna
it's
murder it.
crazy, man.
Murder it.
I needed this conversation anyway. You know what I mean? Like as it relates to the next steps in
Yeah,
my career at
yeah.
work and stuff like that.
So that's your superpower, bro. That comes effortlessly, man. Effortlessly.
And if I want to be in a recruitment role, like this is the type of person you need. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I make the contact, I engage with the person trusts me, and I hand
yeah,
it off to the C
yes,
and
yes.
let them do
And you
all the
let them work
paperwork.
that. You like, I don't
Yeah.
need that. Like, yo, I don't need all those systems. Like, let the C give you a system to report back to them, and the C take care of all that, bro. That's not your superpower. You spend a whole lot of time trying to, you
Be a C when I'm really not.
You're not a C, and you will never
Yeah.
be a C. You need to learn how to become more organized because that's what you need. You need to become a little more structured in your system of your I and your S when you gather the people, where to take that information to pass it off to your C or whatever the case. But you have to use what got you there and what's gonna keep you there. What's gonna keep you there is your I and your S, bruh. That's that's
Yeah.
that's your area, right? And the thing about it is not make decisions based off how you feel and start using and allowing the D and this allowing the D and the C to speak into your life to say, hey, these are some areas that you can get better at, right? So now you may need to just come up with a better system in order to go finish practicing. So yeah, so what you need is find somebody that can help you with the information you have. Like, so if there's somebody within the organization that can support you, that's already their job description, that can take off some of that load, that where you disseminate that information to them, even if it's a student, some things that you can do, or a C help you, or a C develop a system for you.
Yep. Steve is my C. Steve is my C. And
Yo,
being able to like, and he's like commit. Remember I told you, he said he's committed. He said he go home and think about how, he said he's cool with his role. He's like, I go home thinking, he's like, James, every day, he's like, you made an impact in my life. Every day I go home, I think about something that can really get you to where you need to be in your life, the next
bro,
level.
if he's willing to do that, man, you need to.
And he's an engineer, so he
Oh, bro,
thinks like,
bro, you
you
you you
know,
gotta use him, man. You would be a fool not to use him. You working harder and not smarter. You need to let. Okay, Steve. I need you to help me come up with a system to track this information, to be more organized with it. Something that's simple, something I can pass it off to somebody else, or whatever the case. So you
kind of
can.
like a flow chart. Like I
Yes,
could talk to him where I need to go, like a process flow chart. Like identify James. You continue to take care of this. When you get here, give it to Jessica. Give it to
yes, yes,
Christy. You know
yes,
what I mean?
yes, bro.
I hope I remember this, bro, because
It's
my
recorded.
mind is.
It's recorded. I'm gonna send it
Oh,
to you.
okay.
It's recorded, so you
Oh,
can go back. Yes, if
yes.
he can help you come up with a flow chart, like once you get this, you give it to this person because I'm not really good at that, right? So I had to come up with it with my speaking program. So now with my speaking program, I have a system. Before I didn't have a system, I'm still developing it. So when I get a new person in, I do the initial consultation with them. After I do the consultation with them, I take those notes, I take a picture of it, I send it to Ebony, right? I send out an email with the new people, letting them know, like, hey, we got some new people, the whole nine. I'm done with them. At that point, once I get done, Ebony now she has the people, right? So before it was just all over the place. This day I'll send this day I send that. But when they first get recruited, when they first come on, I send out their welcome documentation. Once they get their welcome documentation, I send them out their videos. Once they get their videos, now we set up a one-on-one. In the one-on-one, this is what I'm going over. And then once I get that, boom, now you go see Ebony. So that's the
Uh,
process.
like you just basically run your play.
I
You got your playbook. You
Yeah,
know, like all
yeah,
your coaches on your team, you give them a playbook. Like for instance, with your coaches that coach under you, under your leadership, basically it should be a place like me to be right now. Realistically, if you told me I'm ready to coach, I would, I'm being honest with you, I would be like, all right, man, I appreciate the affirmation, but you ain't too blue. Because anybody who is that low, and
yes,
especially if they're going to represent your brand, you got to be
yes,
like, look, you got to get your C.
yes.
And if you just answer the questions different and you lying to yourself, that's all you. And but in order to coach with my endorsement, you got to get your C at least to
No, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't tell you to get your C up because that's not your superpower. Why am I going to try to convert you into something that you're not?
so that it
So,
would be
so
no need for me to coach though, because if you
no,
can't.
not true. Just think about it. I'm a high I, right? But what I need to do is come up with the system that will work with my I. I don't need to be the C. I need to be
Mhm.
aware. I need to have a structure. So my structure, my system is it's Saturday morning. That's where I do my training at this time, right? And this is what we go through. So the first one I do is like this. I go through and I just go over yours and just small talk. So the next time, now I'm gonna walk you through a whole training on how you train the person,
Mm.
right?
Sean, bet. That sounds great. But yo, please, man, I know you're doing some things, but if this speaks to you, bro, what came to me quickly was just using this complete concept, um, working with D'Antonio or whatever sports coaches you can get with, and implementing these coaching plans, but using terminology like, hey, we got a first down. We got 1st and 10 next week. You and me, call me, and then if something is going wrong or they miss something, be like timeout meeting. Like use all the terminology associated with the sport,
That's
not being overly. It's like you're speaking their language. So literally, like for instance, Steve knows I like basketball, right? And I get he's natural at this. So we have fast break meetings, like 15 minutes or 30 minutes is on the calendar, like, yo, we got a fast break, but we're gonna work on whatever you need to work on to score that basket. You feel what I'm saying? So like,
yes,
boom, on your calendar, schedule the next fast break meeting. I'm challenging you to figure out what we're gonna talk about, but I'm letting you know I'm here to coach you, to help you get that ball in that hoop. Like, it's kind of weird because I be feeling like he's trying to play me, because he think I love basketball because I've talked about it a little bit. So whenever he need to talk to me about something, he'll go into all this deep basketball trivia, like, "Hey, coach, doing," and I'm like, bruh, just say what you got to say.
yeah, and and that's your eye. That's your eye, because your eye, like, yo, don't try to play me out, and they could be genuine as heck, but that's your eye that can also be, what's the word I'm looking for? Can be also suspicious,
Mm-hmm.
right? That can make you be suspicious. But him,
Yeah.
he's so self aware. That's what's dope about him. Without me even knowing him, the way you talk about him, he's self aware. So those things may not even be his strengths, but he is so self-aware of himself that he knows how to move the needle of other people, because it sounds like he's such a really high C, this organization
Oh
person.
yeah, his
But
office looks like a furniture store. Like, it's just he does all this stuff, but at the end of the day, it looks, you know, just like this. Like, you know what I mean? Where
yeah,
you go to mine and there's papers and pictures and all this stuff
yeah,
all over there, but his looks like what I showed you.
yeah, but
And in my mind, I'm like, man, I wish I could be like that, but
nope, that's not you. That's not
it
you.
don't work.
And look, that slows you down. Look at it. You see, when you start doing that, you see how this drops, bro. It slows you down, because now
Hmm.
you're thinking about it. That's not your superpower, man.
Hmm.
That's not your superpower. So all you need to do is come up with that flow chart you said, come up with a system that works for you. But your superpower, your sweet spot is connecting with people. You let Paul, is Paul, right?
Hmm.
You should let somebody like Paul do what they do, bro. That's their job. That's their job. You
I
can't
feel
be
you.
you can't be all of these people, bro. It's an overload.
It really is, bro. It
It's an
drains me.
overload.
I go to sleep at like 8 o'clock, man. Because
Yeah,
mentally, I just be like,
yeah,
it's like living on a tightrope. Can you imagine trying to, if you go sleep on a tightrope, what's gonna happen? You're gonna go to one side or the other and fall down. So
yeah, because look right here. It says when forced to adapt to this style for too long, you may become stressed and less effective. Look at this, bro. You adapting down.
yeah, that's true, bro. I
Yo,
don't know how they came up with these questions, but
you become you become less effective, bro, and stressed out.
hmm
So that's why you have to operate your eye, bruh. Your eye. That's what you got to use that. You got to use that. You got to allow Steve to help you come up with a system that works well for you.
Yeah. So, all right, let me let you just go ahead because I'll have you on the phone for 2 hours, bro. Because I'm excited right now.
Yeah, because this is what happened, right? So in the training, Jay, I will train you, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna train you how to lead this because you know your eye. Like just say you and I, me regularly as an I can talk all day. Your eye, we talk all day because we're eyes. So when you get into this, I have to turn my eye down and turn my seat up to make sure James get what he needs to get as far as explaining in the teaching aspect of it. So the more you do this, you will know you because you're gonna become so self-aware. And when you do the research beforehand, right? Because you know who you're dealing with on the telephone, right? So when I look at strength based, works hard for team objectives and goals, able to reach goals by working with and supporting the efforts of others on the team, excellent, emphatic listening style, a model for others to observe and follow, able to build positive relationships with internal and external stakeholders, brings a positive sense of humor and not at the expense of others, so you don't try to play people out. A high optimism helps motivate the team towards its goal, demonstrates an appropriate combination of people orientation plus listening ability, and may serve as a sought after coach. Look at that. A coach or counselor to peers within the organization. So, I mean, just naturally, that's what you
Hey,
have, bro.
hey, bro, that's crazy because that's true. Because I got people on a high level
Yes.
like Joseph. I'm like doing some Joseph type stuff, and I
Yes.
got kings coming to me like, hey, you know, I trust you. Can you interpret my, what is it? What do you think I'm good at? And I'd be
Yes.
like, well,
Uh,
how come you trust me? And I'm down here. You know what
yes.
I'm saying?
Yes, bro, because that's your superpower, and you trying to bring the C up, and that's not your job. You need to have somebody develop that system, have a system to operate in so that you can be your eye.
Mm-hmm.
You want to develop a system that shuts down your I and your S. You need a system that allows you to be free.
Mm-hmm.
So this right here, like, so before I get on a phone call with you, right? So this right here to communicate with you, plan to talk about things that support dreams and goals. Be certain that individual responsibilities are clear and there are no ambiguities. Be certain to conclude the communication with some modes of action and specific next steps for all involved. Join in some name dropping, talk positively about people and their goals. Use the conversation to direct you back to the topic or issue at hand. Don't get too far off the track.
Yeah.
Find some areas of common interest and involvement. Outline individual tasks and responsibilities in writing. Right.
Yo, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
So this is right here is just how to effectively communicate with James.
But
Right.
this is how my supervisor communicates with me. Like he knows this or something. This
Yes.
this is crazy.
He knows it. He knows this thing, and he's applying it, bro. And that's why y'all connect because he knows it. He's self aware, bro. So
I,
things to
I mean,
avoid
I told you, my man's carved me out of wood, a cane, and sanded it down, and all of that, bro.
because
Like,
yeah he
like,
knows, man. He knows things to avoid to effectively communicate with James. Don't legislate or issue edicts.
what does
Don't
that mean?
don't be a dictator. Don't be a
Oh
dictator.
yeah, that's the major turn off for me.
You shut down, bro. Yeah, don't be little. Don't none of that type of stuff.
Mm-mm.
Don't be vague and ambiguous.
Just give me an example of what you mean by that.
Like because you a big picture guy, you know what I mean? So don't like you like say what you mean what you say. Because you need
Yeah,
to see it. You mean
right.
don't give cloudy information because now you like, yo, what does that mean? Like you trying to play me out? Like it's just
Yeah.
like so they need to be straightforward. So you need to
Wow.
see it. Don't be vague. Avoid being impersonal or judgmental. Don't leave decisions hanging in the air. Like, don't say, you know what, I'll see you on Monday. You like, nah, nigga, tell me today.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Right? Don't stick coldly to the business agenda. Like, yo, don't be so rigid that there's no freedom. Right? We need to have some freedom. Don't be
Yeah.
domineering or demanding, and don't offer assurances and guarantees that you can't fulfill.
Yeah, that's one way to show you that there's no way I would survive being locked up.
Yeah.
You know, you know what I mean? Where this is your space, so I'll be in there.
Yeah. So we was to like so in assessment like this, like that right there, this would be considered a deep dive, right? This would be a deep
Hmm.
dive in a coaching session. This
That's
something
what
like
I was hearing, like
yeah,
before you even said it.
yeah. So this was a deep dive in the session right here. This is like your third and fourth conversation with the individual. So this is like, a couple $1,000s that you would have given them, because now you will give them action steps on what to do, right? So
Man,
your initial boy will only be like 30 minutes. You just letting them know what they're giving them a history. You give them a history of this whole thing, and then you just give them just their high point, which is the eye. Yo, this is what your eye is.
hey,
And
bro, I could thrive with this if I
oh,
applied myself, because I
yes,
got so many people that trust my
yes,
judgment and
yes,
so on and so forth. And if I
yes,
just stick with the plan and just do what
yes.
I do and have a team,
Dude,
like, yo,
murder it.
can you do this? I got a meeting with
Yo,
here. Here's the information.
this right here is going to be a game changer for you, bro, because you can connect with people. Now you have the science and the information behind it. You make it your own. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
It's a wrap because it does it for you, Jay. Once you learn how to read this, because look at the paper. The paper said it. I didn't do it. So all I'm doing is just reading your chart and telling you when you drop, because I know what the I mean. I know what the S, the C, and the D. So I know what happens when they drop and when they raise up.
Yeah, that's prophetic, bro. I mean,
Yes,
not through God, but like literally, this is the recipe. God just allows
yes,
it to
bro.
occur
Yes,
spiritually, but
bro.
this is like the prophetic. Uh, you know,
Yeah. Yes.
you
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you know how you run. You know how in church when you give somebody a prophecy that they just needed some clarity and they start running. Like
Yes,
you
bro.
literally giving people the unction and the desire to run in their
Yes.
lifestyle, to run in their lane. You
Yes.
know what I mean?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
kind of like while you at the gun in the track meet, you whipping somebody in. When you hit that turn, when you start pumping your arms, you're gonna lead, and they be like, "Bah!"
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes, bro. Yes. Because the thing about it is because it reveals the things that you know yourself that other people don't know.
Yo, I'm all loud in here,
Yo,
folks.
it's,
Everybody coming back to it, like,
yo,
that's good.
but that's the thing, man. So like what the gravy thing about it is that we are all for those. We are all for those colors. So we're the D, the I, the S, and the C. Your preference is just to operate in your I, bro. That's your preference. Is it,
Hmm.
you make decisions. You
So,
you you have systems, right? But that's just not your preference. They're just not the best. You like, yo, I would rather operate in my I.
so is there something within this that can give you some suggestions on
Oh yeah.
career paths for people
Yes.
or
Yes.
entrepreneurship paths for people who operate in I?
Yes, bro.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we have that, like the stuff like the good like you want to put an eye in a cubicle. You want to put a
I needs to work for Google, right? Where they just
yes.
kind of like
So they
out
have
there.
freedom. Like your position, is ideal as it relates to you connecting and traveling with people, connecting with people, recruiting, kissing babies, the whole nine.
But
That,
the back office stuff is like, hey,
that back office stuff, that's
like
whack.
I don't need to be in here.
No, no, not at all.
Like I don't need no office. Just let me, you know, do whatever.
Let me do it from, like, you can even do it from, like, from the crib. I mean, you would even be better doing some of that paperwork stuff from your crib or at a coffee shop versus going to being in the cubicle.
Yeah.
If they
It's
just like,
like you signing up to get locked up. You like,
yes,
all right, in the morning I get locked up. Man, this is ridiculous.
yes, yes, bro,
All
because
right, that's what's up.
and that's why you might get up out of your seat. If the people you cool around, you mean
Mhm.
that's why you mean if you like when I was in my office, I got up. I couldn't sit in my office for a long period of time. I had to get up and go connect with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, I'm not gonna be in this darn office all of this, this time. So, so your assignment, from a personal standpoint, Jay, is your assignment is to get with Paul, your man. You said Paul. Get with
Steve, right?
yeah, Steve.
Steve?
Steve. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Get with Steve and find out like, yo, I need a system of like here are the things I'm doing. So the brain dump, like that book I got you, that's perfect for how you operate. If you just use that one thing, use one for your task, all of these ideas you got, dump that junk in your brain dump, right? The one for notes, you use that for your meetings, right? Just try to start using that for one thing.
Let me ask you a question, right? So let's talk about time. Let's talk about not just time management, but time budgeting.
Mhm.
So when you follow this process with the brain dump, the nodes, creative, whatever, how do you start your day and how do you end your day? Because really, that's really for me, that's what's been an epidemic for me. I've
So
never,
started the night before. Started the night before, knowing exactly what you got to accomplish, right?
right?
Started the
So
night before.
creating that, like, what does that look like? I
Yeah,
mean, what does yours look like? I'm just
yeah,
give me an example what yours looks like,
yeah. So what I
because I
yeah,
have no structure. That's one of the reasons why I
yeah,
come on so strong and just kind of fizzle out.
yep. So what I do in my task with all of the grid lines, I write down all of the things that I know I need to do, right? Because I need to get them out of my head. So I got them out of. So what I do, then I'm saying, okay, which ones do I know I need to get done tomorrow of a priority or whatever the case. Those are the ones I'm like, yo, these are the ones I'm gonna spend this amount of time on this. I'm gonna spend this amount of time on this. I'm gonna spend this amount of time on that. Right. So I give myself, and it's harder for us as eyes because we don't want to have all of these systems and all of that type of stuff, but we become more effective in it. So I give myself a certain amount of time to work on each assignment, and then I'm done on that. My note section, my meetings or whatever, I'm putting my meeting notes in there. I'm not mixing it with my text. It's literally on my brain dump. I'm putting my notes for my meetings within my note section, and I will review them depending on the tasks that I have to get done. When I review my agenda the night before, have all my notes there, I'm like, okay, I know what I have to do. So I cool. I know in the morning, boom, you know what? I'm gonna get up at this time. I'm gonna get up and check out this one at this time. Right. So I use it from that standpoint. That's what I do using
I
that.
mean, I get that. I get that. I was simply, I should have been more clear. Simply stated, what does your timeline look like for your productivity from a daily
Oh,
standpoint?
okay, yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
do you set, like, after you get all this information, like, what do you do with it? Do you set aside some time to go back through your notes from the day to take a
At
look
night.
at,
Yep,
yeah,
yep.
like, are you pretty like consistent with that?
Yep, I go
Because
over my notes. I go over my notes for the day at night and what I have to do the next day. I go over it at night. Yep, every day I look at my what I accomplished and what still needs to be accomplished. And I'm really honest with myself and using this disc chart. Like, yo, you didn't do well on this today, right? You had this opportunity. You say you was gonna work on your D and problem solve and confront if this came up, you had a booking opportunity and you took less money. It's fine taking less money, but you didn't um, counteract them. And the reason why I didn't counteract them is because that's where I need to get better at my D, right? So I decided that I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm hiring somebody to do my booking and my negotiation because that's just not my sweet spot. So I just got in contact with somebody yesterday. So I'm not going to spend all of this time and energy on this area that I'm not good at. So I self-assess all the time where I'm at with my D, I, S, and my C, and then I start implementing them. If it's going to make my marriage, if it's going to make my relationship, if it's going to make my business better. So, but I look at all of that every single night before I go to bed, bro. I take an assessment of my DISC. I take an assessment of what goals I accomplished and what I need to do tomorrow.
See, now that's real right there. You know what I mean? Because really, that's where I'm just being completely
Yeah.
transparent with you. That's where I drop off at. I can be in the game with anybody. I'm talking the best of them. I mean, literally, I could be in the game with E if I wanted.
Oh,
Not if I want to, but if I had the commitment.
absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
just that structure for planning and finishing. Everything in between, I could
Yep.
take it. I can be a 5-star recruit for everything
Absolutely.
in between. But if you don't start right, you're gonna lose. If you don't finish right, you're gonna lose. So
Yep.
those are two key elements
Yep. I
for
do that
me.
every night. No, you need it. I do
You
that
know,
every night, bro, because it keeps me aware. It keeps me aware. It keeps me intentional. The whole nine with this, and it doesn't take a whole lot of energy because I do it right from my bed. It doesn't take like
it's a habit now, right?
it's a habit. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
not taken away from anything. I'm just
Yep.
reviewing and reflecting at night. Review and reflect.
Review and reflect. So that's
Yep.
key. I'm just
Yep.
I'm implementing. I'm saying this so that if you don't already, those are the key things. Like the people that you coach already, those are the key things because
Yes.
most people have everything they need, but that
Yep.
starting and finishing is really where it's at. So,
Yes. Yes.
and I know it's almost 9 here, so I know you
And
probably got to get me.
what's gonna be sweet for you is because when you start coaching people that you know that are high eyes, you know what their kryptonite is. Why? Because you eye, bro. You know what you battle with as an eye. So coming up with the systems and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, well, I love that, man.
And so when you start working with your C's, when you identify your C's, you will see like C's what happened. They can think themselves out of making a decision. They analyze too long. They sit on the fence and they thinking all it has to be perfect. They can be critical. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Super critical of people. A D, like yo, you don't forget about the emotional connection to people you lead, right? You assertive. And when you look at some people who say who may come off like rough and hard, but when you look at their assessment, they may be a high I, but they I drop and they D adapts up, right? So now the only time they want to be assertive, the only time they want to be take control is when they in their feelings, and now they rude as heck. Now you rude, like yo, you not a Kobe Bryant. You only
Mm.
doing it because you pissed and you mad, and you can't be effective. Remember what they said: when you adapt too long, it becomes overwhelming.
Like a Frankenstein, you
Like a,
become
yeah,
because Frankenstein wasn't created to be killing everybody and
no,
smashing them, you know.
exactly, bro. So we want to operate in our superpower. We want to operate in our sweet spot. So that's what I'm saying. Your sweet spot is that I and that S. You just need to get Steve to help you come up with some systems that work within your system. You don't change to fit their system. You change the system to fit yours to be creative. So it need to be processes, but you need to shift it to where it works within the way you operate. You don't adapt to it, you make it adapt to you. And that's how you still remain authentic to yourself. You still got to get reports done. You still have to get, but how do I shift it to where it works within the way I operate?
Yeah, that that's it right there.
Yeah.
So as an immediate action item, you suggested that
Yep. That you get with Steve, that you start using that that little notebook, like on
Hmm.
purpose. Start using that. Putting all your ideas, your brain dump, your thoughts, like this conversation and what you doing with your business or what you want to do, what that look like. Start putting it in brain dump. Put in that one section, so that way you can go back. Boom, you have all your notes there. You don't need 20 notebooks because
So
that's what's making things more difficult.
right, I got 20. I mean, I got 100, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So last thing for me,
yeah.
so where do you dump all your information at? Like what tools do you have outside of the handwritten? Like,
Go,
you understand what I mean? Because
taking
one problem I have is deleting as well. I have a problem with deleting things here and deleting things on it. You can't always keep everything. You
two places.
understand what I'm saying?
Two places. Use your little notebook. When you run out of that, you have a file where you put those in, and you put in the information on the outside of it that you know what's exactly on the inside when you get done with it. But you use that one little notebook thing that I got you. That's what you're gonna use for the rest of your life till something else come out better, right?
Hmm.
If you can't break that down, you're gonna use your voice note to to talk about whatever you need to talk about until you can transfer it to somewhere else.
So transferring the to-do list is basically transferring this to, whatever method you use, transferring. That's how you check off this is done.
Yes,
Then you can delete from
yes,
that point on. Yeah.
yes. But the thing about it, you're only gonna put stuff in three places. Only three places. That notebook you got, your voice recorder, if you need to record something in there just for a moment or whatever, and then you're gonna put stuff in a Google Doc. You're gonna create
Okay.
the Google Doc so that way you have access to it no matter where you go. Google Doc, it automatically auto saves.
Yeah, because look, I want to say attempt, but what I'm going to commit to is I'm going to commit to stopping my day at a certain time, no matter what. That means, like, if I want to go to a game or something like that, I still have to find the time. I mean, I got to get up extra early to do something else and
Yep,
stop before I go to the game and
yep,
all of that. Because I was reading something on time budget versus time management.
yep.
Like, you know what I mean? You really have to budget the amount of time you're given to yourself. Like, you can't just manage something without having a budget. You got to know what you actually got. But we can talk about that later. I think it's about 9 or after 9.
Yep.
We kind of went way over, but I appreciate you taking time.
Yeah, let's do it, man. So was this helpful today, man?
Oh, it was very helpful. It's always helpful if somebody speaks your language,
That's what's up.
so
That's what's up. Let's
so
get it. So
so
I'll record. This is recorded. I'm stopping it now. This is recorded. Once I